What's up, everybody? We are live. So, at the breakneck pace of the degree to which things are coming out about this Trump stuff, we're trying to keep up. And yesterday, I think this is really going under the radar, bro. The Secret Service director made a shocking admission that I think incriminated her, and I think that's the reason that she stepped down and resigned today after she kept stubbornly saying she wasn't. I mean, it's like kind of like the Biden thing where for the longest time he was saying he wasn't going to step down, then mysteriously did. We'll talk about that later. But first, does this ring any bells to you? Do you know what I'm talking about? Why she potentially stepped down? The reason behind it?
I was actually behind the scenes when
Oh yeah.
Pat announced in the show that she was stepping down.
Yeah. So like, what's your assumption for the reason that was like the straw that broke the camel's back? 'Cause I
Uh,
don't think you know.
I don't think I know, but I mean it doesn't surprise me. I knew she wasn't gonna do jail time or take full accountability for her actions. So it was just her stepping down or waiting it out until Trump goes in. So like I don't know. But
Well,
could you see any other options?
yeah, no, I know. So I know why. And so here's the reason. And before I play that, remember where you heard it first. I'm predicting that she gets what's a good acronym for it? I mean, I feel like suicide is a little bit harsh, but I think she's gonna get Clintoned.
Oh wow, that hard?
I think so. And just for the record, in case anybody doesn't know why the flag is upside down here, it's because it's a sign of America being under attack in a state of distress. Would you
Did he
agree
tell
with
you
this?
that?
Yeah, you told me that last week, and I like where you're going with that. But yeah, so America is in like the craziest, most overt coup attempt that I think we've seen in our lifetime. Two potentially two assassination attempts within 1 week. But without further ado, here I'm gonna.
Potentially three.
Who was the third one? Are
Jimmy
you going Jimmy Carter?
Carter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a joke. He's alive and well.
Yep.
Everyone, yeah.
All right, so here's why I think that this lady suddenly resigned. Check out this question.
You are under oath, reminding you. Have you communicated with anyone at the White House on an encrypted messaging app like Signal? Yes or no?
No, I have not.
Are you willing to surrender your personal phone for analysis?
If I am required to do so.
Okay. I will look into making that request because I would like to see your personal phone to see if you're communicating over encrypted messaging apps.
So I don't know about you, but to me, that's the face of like, oh fuck, I didn't expect that question.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but I'm willing to have do whatever the lady did to be grilled by Bovard. What a beautiful lady.
You're willing to
I,
do whatever the lady did to do what?
to get grilled by her. She looks
I
even
know
better
she was
mad.
looking
I'm
right the
sorry.
other day. She was looking right the other day. I'd go to the movies with her anytime, if you know what I mean.
But
Anytime.
back to the question. I don't know. She's onto something. Did you
Well,
see her
so
face? Did you see her face?
yeah, like I didn't like it. That was a shift from what her face when her temperament was for like the rest of the time she's in robot mode. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to look into that. But that one, she was like, yeah, I did that. So I'm gonna go into why that's such a big deal. But then I have one more clip about that though.
Representative Boebert asked
and I
earlier
have
about
another
using
question for
encrypted
you.
apps that you said you've not used, I guess, Signal. Have you used any encrypted app to communicate from your personal device?
I do, on occasion, use encrypted apps to communicate.
So you use some form of an encrypted app to communicate with people within the federal government, with local law enforcement? Whom are you communicating using the encrypted apps?
Many times it's with colleagues and associates.
So you're communicating with colleagues on a personal device?
There are times that the Secret Service, when we work internationally with some of our partners, that they don't have the same texting capability.
And you're not able to do that with your government issued device?
Recently, we have been able to install some of those apps on government devices.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the things that we can get access to. I'm actually shocked that you are using your personal device and encrypted communication tools. I think that might be the most shocking thing that I've heard today. I didn't expect for you to say that.
So boom, there you go. So from my understanding, it's not legal to send personal messages or send messages about work on your personal device when you're talking about like classified matters. So I think that she might have incriminated herself there. And I was listening to Dan Bongino and Glenn Beck earlier today, and Bongino seemed to insinuate that he or somebody who's in the Secret Service might have fed that question to Congress. And the fact that she said that she was willing, like when she was talking to Bogart, she said she was willing to give up her personal phone for them to look at it. That puts her in a really brutal position.
Can I say two things about this?
You can say whatever you want. It's America.
It's America. Three things. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
they got tipped. Because how would they know?
Who? Congress?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I'm saying Bongino fed that question to him, he said.
All right. So Bongino knows something.
Yeah.
Okay. Second of all, most messaging app except like probably like SMS, they're all encrypted, so it doesn't mean anything. Like every time we send WhatsApp messages to each other, there's an encrypted app, and like those are encrypted messages.
But we don't work for the government. We don't have access to classified matters.
Yeah, but a bunch of apps that because I think they're thinking Signal or maybe that type of app, but all of the messaging app, all of most modern messaging app are encrypted, and at the same time, I don't think encryption means anything, you know.
But it's not a matter of encryption. It's a matter of she sent, like it's the thing with Hillary where she sent emails from her personal computer. Everybody's making a big deal about that. She supposedly sent, government related information or conversation from her personal phone to the White House, which is a crime.
Is it a crime?
Yeah, no, like that's the point of all this. That's what they're saying is that, like, I mean, there's a reason he said that's the most shocking thing here today. Which I mean, that was probably the most shocking hearing in congressional hearing of all time. Like I, watched a lot of those things because it's a shit show all the time. And it's kind of entertaining, but that was the biggest disaster I've ever seen. A lot of people said the same thing, and for him to say that's the most shocking admission you hear today, I know for a fact that it's illegal in a lot of situations to use your personal device for government conversations. So I would imagine in the Secret Service, it's illegal to use your personal device to communicate with the White House for all sorts of reasons.
Okay, that's true. Now,
and her face looked like she didn't expect that question.
Super guilty. Super guilty. But do you think Bongino knew something?
Yeah, I think he's the I think he's the most in the know person with the most up to date information with what's going on behind the scenes right now. But I just wish he would take a stronger position against it because he's been on the money about a lot of this stuff. He's been ahead of the news with a lot of this stuff because he has sources within the Secret Service still. He's pretty much like the highest authority on this issue when it comes to like knowing how that world works, knowing people from that world. But he's still very conservatively taking the position of incompetence rather than malice. And I think that, he's really missing an opportunity and doing us a disservice by not going full steam ahead with all right, this is blatantly malice, this is not an accident.
I mean, it could, maybe he knows that everyone, regardless of being illegal, being a crime, that everyone does it. So it was more of a blanket statement, maybe.
That everybody does it?
Yeah.
Who are you saying said everybody does it or thinks everybody does it?
I think most people will do it.
In the government?
Everywhere.
Yeah, but it's a different situation if you work for the government and are talking about classified materials.
Yeah,
there's laws against that.
Oh, but people are so careless, Brandon. They're so careless.
I know, but yeah, exactly. But you don't always get like this type of motivated Congress who's trying to make an example out of somebody. I think one of the worst positions to be in the world is to be in the position of the government trying to make an example out of you. You know, like
Oh,
that's what happened in
100%.
January 6th.
But
That's what happened to that kid Ross. What's his name that went to jail for the Silk Road? It's like when the government's trying to make an example of you and scare you out of doing something that you did and stopping people from doing that in the future. That's a bad position to be in.
okay, so the lady did. I can guarantee you that even Bongino used his personal phone to send some text to a colleague. But is it illegal for them to send messages to a colleague just because they work there?
I think it is. I don't know that for sure. I know that it is in a lot of situations, or at least in some situations, it's illegal to communicate about government, classified sensitive materials on your personal device. I don't know for sure if it is in this one, but the way that they're speaking about it, I think that is like the look on her face would indicate that it is. And the fact that she stepped down today, I think that like says something strong because, if like to go from a position of no, I'm not stepping down. I don't see a reason to step down. And Mayorkas saying he has 100% confidence in her. Biden's not going to fire her. Kamala's not going to fire her. So like, I don't like what else would have pushed her to like say, okay, I'm going to step down today.
I think she broke under pressure because
Okay.
partly, like, I don't know, in that situation, let's say you and I will work for the Secret Service. Like,
Uh-huh.
the chances, if we're friends, the chances of me not texting you from my personal phone about dumb stuff, like, it's very, like, we probably text each other.
Yeah, about dumb stuff. That's fine.
Yeah,
Like you
but
could have normal conversations, but you can't be like, hey, this is the security plan for the president. This is what this was the security plan. This is why everything got fucked up today.
but at the same time, her guilty face, like, because if they asked me, I was like, have you sent encrypted messages? Yeah, I sent Brandon memes.
hmm
But I think the pressure broke her because, like, I could have lied my way through it, I guess. But
Yeah,
there's a
but I
thought
mean
on it.
that's
I
also a
wouldn't
crime.
have because I'm a good person.
Well, I guess now they're going to be able to subpoena her phone because she said that she was willing to give it to them. So I mean that should be interesting. Um, so somewhat transitioning a bit, I saw this crazy video today where I don't know if this is true because I don't know
Oh,
how this could
wait. Can we
blow
hold?
up.
Can we hold back that?
All right,
Because
back it up.
okay, let's say she's willing to give them her phone. Okay,
Yep.
um, it's probably white, so they won't find anything if external people are on it.
Yep.
And if they subpoena her phone and they find something on the phone, it brings down the whole conspiracy like a notch. Or maybe that's a full person that they want to.
Oh, I think
I
she's
don't
the
know.
fall person, all right. And
You
that's why I
think
think
she's
she's
a,
gonna get Clinton.
oh wow. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
with
move
a
on.
note that says like, "Oh, like sorry for setting women back 70 years and by my sheer incompetence and bitchiness during this trial, but I just couldn't take it anymore." And it's gonna be like the like
If she
two
if she
shotguns to the head situation.
if she actually said that, like, sorry for taking women back, I will personally become president and write a pardon for her.
I get it. No, I agree. That's the least she could do. But
It is the least she could do.
so I saw this video today and it made me something occurred to me that like we haven't even considered yet. And I feel stupid personally for not having even thought of this, but check this out. So I mean the second half of this video, I don't know, I can't confirm it. I don't think it's true necessarily, but look at the first one and I guarantee it's going to make you think of something that we haven't even considered yet.
This is the lifeless body of the shooter on the roof of that building.
That shot's a fairy tale. They framed it to make it look like he shot Trump from that position, but we're going to show you now with new footage that was impossible. Nobody saw this footage before today. My research partner, Michelle Swinnick, found this at a YouTube channel. It was posted the day of the shooting. As of today, 8 days later, it only had 59 views. However, the New York Times had this footage, but they never showed anyone this shot, which proves that he could not have shot from this angle.
Look at that.
You've never seen this shot before with the body all the way to the left side of the building. They've always framed it like it's closer to the ridge. As you'll see later, there's a ridge right in the middle of the building. It goes past that roof turbine at the top that looks like a big mushroom there. This is the famous shot everybody's seen, but everybody's seen it framed up close. This is the image that gaslit the entire country. This is a fake image. And we have Matt Baker and Morris Less, aka Sless, for having the guts to get us up on that building today so we could see all the angles we need to see.
So this, I don't know if this is true, but what the POV that you're going to see right here, I think is like what the POV would be. So that's what you're looking at if you're in that position that they just showed.
You can make a shot from there.
No.
It's more than obvious he had no shot. 5 yards to the left.
So
It's a
point being, like I said, I don't think that kid went to the place because the FBI has it locked down. I don't think he was able to climb on the roof. But if the kid died right there, like, I mean, it's common sense that he's like looking at the top of the roof right there. He's not looking down on Trump.
Or maybe the kid was really retarded.
Oh, he definitely was. I mean, they
No,
manipulated him into trying to into being the fucking like most visible thing there, walking around with a gun.
All right, boy, just sit right here. Hold this a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna be a
Dumb as
hero.
Patsy.
You're her, Lee Harvey Oswald.
But it's basic math. Like if you go back to the image you had there, like it's just a basic triangle. Like it doesn't add up.
Yeah, and then I think this.
See that? Watch his shoulder right there.
This is a good one too. So I don't even need to play the audio, but I do because of the gunshot.
And
So look, nothing moves. Like I mean, I posted this on Instagram, and everybody's like, the AR doesn't have any kickback. But I mean, yeah, there's a difference between not having kickback and not moving at all. Like, you know, any gun, when a gun goes off, like you see some degree of movement. But look,
and
nothing. Right? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
Like, you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like, you see what's being pointed out here. Like, when you hear the
like,
first bang, nothing moves.
You expect, even if it doesn't have a lot of kickback, you expect a slight reaction, you know?
Yeah.
That slight flinch, like even very advanced shooters, you know, they prepare for the shot. I don't know, this is getting weirder by the day, Brandon.
I mean, I said from day one, I'm not weirded out at all. Day one, I felt weirder than I felt today because nobody else had like, what'd you say to me day two, actually, when we sat down, we were about to do an episode of Unusual Suspects. Like, what'd you say to me when I said what I said? Like, or you remember that? You remember what I said? And then what you said to me? What'd I say?
Well, you said, Humberto, there's 2 shooters. I'm like, Brandon, don't say that. But
Yeah.
hey, you know, I'm the first one to admit my mistakes.
So,
And
yeah, go ahead.
no, it's seeming more plausible by the day.
Well, if you're not sold yet, give this a listen.
it's all kinds of weird. Here we go.
How many guns went off there?
Probably 2.
I hear 3
3.
different guns.
I'm
Wait,
still
can you
pretty
play it
from-
again?
From
Yeah.
Cezanne. Here we go.
I saw this video, but I haven't heard it with headphones.
3.
And then that one.
So there's 3, then 5, and then a last one. I think the last one was the sniper Secret Service shot, though.
I can 100% guarantee that I heard at least 2 guns.
Yeah, that's beyond a doubt. And then something really cool this guy Chris Martinson is pointing out is the speed of that second burst. So I'm excited. Tomorrow, Chris Martinson is going to release finally where the bullets actually went, which, I mean, for some reason the FBI hasn't done yet, which we've been complaining about. But so watch the comparison he makes here with how fast these shots went off, and then compared to the fastest shooter in the world.
Here's what I want. So those 5 shots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is mysterious because these 5 shots here, when you take a look at them from the beginning of the first shot to the beginning of the 5th shot, so that's how fast you could take those 5 shots. It turns out that the total thing is only 0.775 seconds from beginning to end. Now, as a shooter, I'll tell you, you kind of have to work at it to get 5 shots off in 0.775 seconds.
A 55 is kind of slow at this range, so I'm going to listen really good for that
I love
timer.
that guy.
Get in the center and punch out 5. See if we can make it under a second. Here we go.
That guy was born with a gun in his hand. So second burst, extremely fast, almost like in the range of a world-class shooter. So the fact that they were accurate shots and they were that fast makes it even more improbable. Like, I mean, if the freaking angle that shows the kid was looking at the roof wasn't enough for you, if the fact that there's no movement from him when you heard the first gunshot go off, if that wasn't enough, I mean, what else do you need at this point?
I need the. No, I mean,
I know you're mind
like,
blown.
I'm. Let me think about this a little bit. Like,
Okay,
so,
well,
okay, so I can tell apart two guns. Okay,
yep.
like one of them was very likely a rifle because you can hear the sound, and then the other one was some kind of semi-automatic pistol or rifle, like
No,
two
not a
different
pistol.
sounds. I mean, I'm not an expert, but you can tell there's a semi-automatic weapon in general.
Yeah.
So I can tell those two apart. Now, seeing this guy, world record champion, like a fucking beast shooting, putting those 5 shots at that speed, it gives me leeway to start thinking that there was more than the rifle, and I mean, than the precision rifle, and the AR weapon.
Yeah, and the fact that they're being so weird about things like they haven't shown us the gun. People are speculating like, oh, did the kid have iron sights on the gun? Was it a red dot? Like he definitely didn't have a scope. They're saying like they moved his body like in the like where they're showing it, like originally his body was in one place, now it's on another place. That makes it more of a plausible shot because it was totally implausible with where his body first was. Like if you look at the overhead, it's like his body's all the way to the right versus when you look at that shot that we just saw when he was still alive, it's like all the way to the left of the building if you're looking at it from overhead. And in addition,
bringing it down to our normal space,
yeah,
probably was him shooting, police, and Secret Service shooting. Then you have the 3 gunners.
yeah. So that's what that last shot was, I believe.
Yeah, like I saw the whole video, and he says that matches with the sound and the video. So you have one that you're sure of, and then you have the 2 other possible guns that we still don't know.
Right. And then you start hearing stuff today, like somebody said in the chat, thanks for reminding me about that William Leonard, that it's turning out now that there's somebody was meeting with this kid. There's like a map that shows him going back and forth from Washington, D.C. to this kid's house, and like his phone pinged in both places. So, I mean, again, I'm not shocked by that, but that's confirming the initial thought, like the way these things go down. You find a young and vulnerable, depressed kid and manipulate him into being the person who, thinks he's going to be the hero with this thing. And he's just the visible patsy. But you heard about the man with the gray suit yet?
I did hear about the man with the gray suit.
You
want to
heard a
tell the
lot.
people
Do you think it's BS, or you think there's something to it?
I mean, they tend to approach at those times.
Like he's like a man in black, but he's man in gray this time. But when I first saw this, I'm like, all right, like I guess like there's stronger things to talk about and pursue right now. But now Fox News is talking about it.
Local officers went up to that roof and started taking pictures of the dead body, of the shooter's body. So suddenly a guy in a gray suit walks up the ladder and goes up to the roof. And this guy in the gray suit, who didn't appear to have credentials, everybody assumed he was the Secret Service. So he tells one of the local law enforcement, send those pictures to this cell phone. And he gives him a number. And everybody assumed, well, that must be Secret Service. It turns out it wasn't Secret Service.
How about that? And
wow.
Then, so some guy's just walking around acting confident and like getting evidence from people. So there's some speculation of who this guy is. Here's one video. Some people are saying maybe it's this guy. Looks like a Fed. Some people are saying maybe it's this guy right there. And then I think there's one more. No, played that already. But yeah, so either that guy in the first one or the bald guy, a lot of people are pointing to that as the guy who just swooped in and started collecting evidence from people and disappeared. So yeah, dude, this smells and feels exactly like this whole JFK thing that happened. Like that's the playbook.
But it is so funny that they called him a rogue ATF agent. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
What would an ATF agent be doing there, like on a crime scene?
I mean, it's ammo, or was it firearms, tobacco? What else? What's ATF stand for? What's the A? There's
Arm,
firearms and tobacco. What?
Yeah, I think it's firearms, tobacco, and I don't know. We're
looking it up.
really dumb, which you should look it up.
I am. Oh, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Tobacco, and firearms. Yeah.
Well, that's why I didn't remember, because I remembered it's like a weird cluster of things to throw in together. Like what? Like why are firearms grouped in with alcohol and tobacco?
I mean, it's not weird.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Like if you were to play word association, like what word sticks out here between alcohol, firearms, and tobacco? Like which one doesn't fit in that group?
They all fit. They all pay high taxes.
I mean, firearms are a different category than alcohol and tobacco. But
they're highly controlled.
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of weird things, though, riddle me this: why is the coming out that the fucking police did not wear body cam stuff that day? Oh, wrong one. So that's the second one I'm going to show. Then there's stuff showing that there was body cam footage, but there's a report where they're saying they did not wear body cam footage. Here it is.
You think they didn't wear it or they wiped it?
Either one's weird. So this is July 18th from the Gateway Pundit. Butler County Sheriff's claim responding officers did not wear body cams. No footage of Trump attempted assassination. But then from the same news outlet. Here we go. This was today. Police body cam footage of Secret Service responding to Trump shooter on roof released. Snipers took photos of crooks before shooting. Drone sent to water tower. So is there an actual video here? Because that sounds like a stick video.
They did ask her about the drone yesterday.
Oh, what's this? Oh, wow. I didn't see this yet. But when is that, though? Oh, so this is at 1911. So that's 7:10 that day. Okay. That just shows that you were there after the fact. That's not showing that you were like there at a time of importance. But yeah, so Senator Ron Johnson's doing a lot of stuff investigating this. I was listening to Tucker Carlson and Jack Posobiec last night, and he was saying how Ron Johnson's doing a lot of stuff with this, getting a lot of good investigative details. But just the fact that normal stuff that we would normally expect to be out in the open by this point in time, like, what kind of gun the kid was using, more details about the kid, where his body was when he got shot, like how many rounds were fired off. And then Ron Johnson came out today and said that they can decisively say they found 8 bullets, but we heard 9 bullets shot in that thing. So the fact that there's this much that's being suppressed, I think screams that there's a dirty, sick, twisted narrative to this.
But did you read a little bit more about the body cam thing? Because I did some reading, and I'm not sure if they didn't have the cameras equipped, or if they did, or if the footage was being wiped.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. That thing just said that they were off that day. So the narrative of that article from that police officer is that they were off that day.
Because that makes a world of difference.
If they were wiped versus, well, I mean, if they were wiped, I'm sure they would say that they were off because wiping them sounds a lot worse than them being off.
I mean, them being off is also weird. Like it's part of standard procedure. Who told them to turn off their cameras?
Right.
And then why like if they tell you, okay, turn off your body cam for this event, wouldn't you ask? Any of the police force, wouldn't they ask?
Yeah, and why aren't we hearing from people that were there, like in law enforcement? I know we saw a few law enforcement leaders speak on behalf. Like there was that bombshell thing that came out last week. It was like 2 days after the shooting that they were the ones who said that the Secret Service was notified 10 minutes beforehand over the radio that there was a shooter on the loose, and they let Trump on there. So that's how we found out about that. But it's like they're being told to not speak or something. And then they were also saying yesterday that so Ron Johnson found out that the Secret Service did not attend the 9 a.m. briefing the day of. They did not. What was the other one? Oh yeah, they weren't even on the same radio channel as the police.
I mean that they said that that's very common, that if you have different agencies doing it in, they all use different frequencies.
But you have one centralized channel that you could always access.
Yeah, I mean, communication is everything. Like, what's the point of having 3 or 4 agencies like working, there if they can't even talk to each other?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know where I'm at with this thing, and I mean, it's like bothering me that people are still using this narrative of it being an incompetence rather than malice. I mean, like I said earlier this week, I despise Biden, but the same thing is happening to Biden right now to a degree. It's like we're watching this shadow government do like a soft coup against them.
I mean, soft? It's not soft at all. Like,
well, I mean, a hard coup is like, the French Revolution style or Russian Revolution style. So that's why I call this a soft coup.
Yeah, I mean, most soft coups, they're done with political power. Some faction will start like protesting outside and causing all this sort of trouble, like burning things on the street and whatever, like very similar to what happened during the Summer of Love, until people get tired of it and they change the regime. But what's happening here, I never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I'm eager to see Democrats being mad about it too, because like the bread and butter for the shadow government is to get Democrats and Republicans pissed off at each other. But I think Democrats should be furious about what's happening with Biden, because none of them chose Kamala Harris. And the Democrat Party has been keeping like uncontrollable people out for the last decade now. Like if the Democrat voters had it their way, Bernie would have been a presidential candidate instead of Hillary. Probably you would have had somebody like Tulsi or Joe Manchin or RFK be the candidate in 2020 instead of Biden. Like
how much do they hate Kennedy, that they won't even he would have been the perfect replacement. Like he already has some momentum. But the thing is that people need to realize Trump was never running against a candidate. He was running against establishment.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're gonna swing it around.
Right. And I mean, I imagine that's why they didn't want somebody like Tulsi or RFK, or I guess even Joe Manchin, even though Joe Manchin's probably a little bit establishment. Tulsi's a little bit establishment, but she's like not all in. But I guarantee you that, pre-assassination attempt, if they ran Tulsi or if they ran RFK or if they ran Manchin against Trump, Trump probably wouldn't have won.
Oh no, most likely not at all.
Yeah, like it's a coin flip between him and Biden pre-assassination attempt. Now it's a lock, I think, if he stays alive, between him and Biden, him and Harris post-assassination attempt. But yeah, I think RFK, Manchin, or Tulsi would have crushed him of pre-assassination attempt. But they care so much about controlling the president that they would not let it happen.
Oh, they won't ever. And that's why most of them are sick and tired. And even Pat picked up on it as well. Like even AOC, that we always talk shit about.
Yep.
Even she looks like
shook.
she's over it. Yeah, she was over it,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on there at all.
No, it's a bipartisan issue to be pissed off at the shadow government.
It is a bipartisan issue. And we're seeing that it's very small select groups in the Republican Party that are in the whole situation, and small select groups in the Democratic Party that they know about the situation.
Yeah, and like if this thing was on levels of 10 being like the highest level of who controls the world and who's powerful, the shadow government, deep state, whatever you want to call it, like in American politics. I mean, I think of people like Liz Cheney, Mike Pompeo, Nikki Haley, the Clintons, the Obamas. Who else would you throw in there for shadow government? Like John Bolton, right?
John Bolton, what's this guy? He used to be the head of Congress.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. He's definitely in.
Like
and
on the
other
power.
guy,
Which one?
the one that served under Trump.
Paul Ryan.
Yeah, Paul Ryan. He's definitely into this.
Oh yeah,
He's like the right's Gavin Newsom.
except he sucks and can't debate.
Yeah,
Like he got
terrible.
smoked by Joe Biden in 2012.
How embarrassing.
Yeah. Like when people think of Paul Ryan, they think of Joe Biden obliterating him in a debate.
Getting cooked by John Biden on live TV that's rough.
Like he was so boring and rigid and bad that Biden looked like charismatic and energetic and funny.
If he retired from politics after that, I would have.
I think it ruined his life. No, but somehow he made it. He was like Speaker of the House for a little bit under Trump, which, like, again, I mean, we love Trump to death, but we always say like he picks terrible people sometimes for some reason.
He does. He's the worst picker.
Like he picked Michael Cohen.
He did. He picked Pence.
Yeah. Paul Ryan.
Picks. Paul Ryan. And we're seeing weirder picks this time around.
Remember the first press secretary was Sean Spicer?
Oh, but he lasted less than a fart in a basket, Brandon.
I know, but he was still there first. I mean, eventually Trump found the like Tom Brady of press secretaries with Kayleigh McEnany.
Nobody will do it better than her. I remember her looking for her press conference. They used to destroy her, but she will come back every time because she had a folder this big, everything organized, color coded. So whenever they brought something up, she'd be like this, and then just flip the pages and just spit facts. I love that lady.
And looked amazing while doing it.
And she did look amazing while doing it. So this is one part of the equation. What do you have on the Kamala thing?
What's up?
What do you have on Biden, replacement, Kamala?
So I'm thinking that they're gonna kind of ruin Kamala's reputation at some point. But I think the reason they're acting so like aggressively right now and doing all this crazy shit is because they're in a state of panic. I mean, they wouldn't be this overt about things if they weren't like losing control or letting control slip. And I think that's freaking them out because it's a concept they're unfamiliar with. It's like they got freaked out by Trump because not only was he like an anti-establishment candidate that they couldn't control, but that was like at the same time as social media was like blossoming and taking the media and like means of information and setting narratives out of their control. So that kind of hit them in an unexpected way. So, look at the measures that were taken like between 2016 and 2024 to try to, tamp down that resistance and like the unexpected thing that caught them off guard. So I think they're going to keep escalating with the crazy steps that they take to, get control back of this thing. But I don't think Kamala's the vehicle they're going to use to try to do it. I don't know what they have in store for her. I mean, I think Biden might not be in the picture much longer, if you know what I mean. And then I don't know how you get rid of Kamala and still like have access to the money and give yourself a chance. I mean, like it's shaping up to be like the 1968 DNC. Do you know anything about that?
What's that when
it was when everybody hated LBJ because of the Vietnam.
LBJ, and he stepped down.
Right. And then it was kind of up in the air who was going to, and then RFK was the leading candidate for the Democrat Party and he gets assassinated right after he wins the California primary. So, and that's like a month before the DNC. So it was just like a shit show when they were going into it. They didn't know who was going to be the candidate. They were sorting it out at the DNC and there was like tens of thousands of people protesting outside of it. And the police went out and like beat the shit out of them. And Nixon ended up winning by a landslide. I think he won like, 35 states and had primary electoral votes like in the 300s because he ran on Law and Order.
And I actually went back to it because as he was stepping down, he did address the American people. And even though we don't like the guy, he was very
Nixon?
no, LBJ.
Oh,
We don't like the guy, but he stepped down with the objective of having a stable government that kept on running, because he knew he wasn't going to be able to keep the government together. And that's what he said on his press conference or Oval Office address. And Biden is doing the absolute complete opposite. I mean, he announced with a letter. Still till today, we haven't heard of him. I think there was some footage of him getting in and out of a car and getting in and out of the plane. Press came to the thing. They asked him a few questions. It seemed like it went right through him. I don't know if you saw the video. He didn't address anything. He waved like from the top of the stairs, very like,
robotic.
odd. It was very robotic. People said that it was a mask.
Well, here's the thing. So everybody's, I mean, Charlie Kirk came out and said that his source was telling them Biden was dead the other day. And everybody's like, oh, where's Biden? He hasn't been seen in 5 days. So, and I was saying right away, like, all right, so if you're saying that just from him being dead would mean that he wouldn't be seen, and that's like debunking the whole body double thing. Because, if the body double thing is true, then they could very easily disguise, if he was actually gone.
I mean, pick a flag guy. Like, is he either, like filled with body doubles, so him being dead is not an issue, or he's dead and they don't want to show him. But at the same time, it can be both.
Yeah. But point being, if he's gone, like, I don't assume that we would know about it if they didn't want us to know about it. I assume that they would use the very capable means they have to act like he's still around. But I don't think they're gonna let Kamala do this thing. I mean, I think the two possibilities, like the two things the one thing I'm most worried about is what happened this little test run with CrowdStrike the other day. So, CrowdStrike, as far as I'm concerned, is like a dirty, untrustworthy company that's in bed with the Democrats. Their big claim to fame was that they looked into the whole like Russia hacking the DNC convention server, which was BS. And then they did this whole thing where they tried to incriminate Russia against stuff they were doing to Ukraine. And but they're like gaining a monopoly on the world of cybersecurity, and just like this stupid little dinky mistake they made with this update like brought the world to a screeching halt the other day. So I think that was potentially a little test run for what they could do in terms of like damage and destabilizing standpoint. Because if you lose the election, if you're on their side, would you rather just bend over, give up power, or would you rather let the cybersecurity situation go to shit and bring the world to a screeching halt?
And even as a company, how can you be like a trustworthy cybersecurity company that provide services for Microsoft? That's what bricked everything. To have a mistake of this size, if you have a bigger intention behind it, it just doesn't add up.
Right. Yeah, and like, how are all these companies like that dependent on CrowdStrike? Like, I know what CrowdStrike is, I know what it does, but you're telling me that you're that dependent on this one company that like a bad update can stop your entire operation? Like, it could stop flights and hospitals and transportation and like potentially like communications.
I mean, it's a scary thought, and this thing is the biggest cyber attack or cyber bug, if you don't want to add malice to it. But we had a smaller scale ones, and whenever this happened, nothing happens afterwards.
Yeah, but think of the leverage this company has, though. I mean, like they could literally they could tell the government like, hey, we want XYZ, or we're just gonna like flip the switch.
That is a really good point. Like, hey, we wanna have our headquarters here, tax free, and we want like $10 billion in tax breaks or whatever. And this shows you how fragile. And you texted me when this happened. He was like, "Hey, we need to stock up."
Who did?
You did.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's probably
we
not
need
a
guns
bad
and food
idea.
buckets.
Yeah, but that's how delicate things are, Brandon.
Yeah,
Like people think we live in this like super advanced society with like very robust systems that airplanes will always land, hospital will always run. But something
food
as
shelves will
stupid
always be full.
as they said it, like it was a bad update by an intern, can bring everything to like a standstill.
Yeah. And not to mention our shitty, dinky old power grid that's like 70 years old that we like the biggest investment we've ever done in is like $3 billion, but we're happy to, pump $200 billion a year into solar panels that we throw away in 7 years.
I know that's a big problem, and people don't want to see the reality of it. And
It's because
even
they want that outcome. They want that zero growth outcome where we're vulnerable to, like, I think that's like a potential last resort that they'd like to have in their back pocket if they ever needed it.
but Trump said it, after talking to Elon Musk. He was like, "Oh, Elon, yeah, the things that he does are amazing." But he said it like, electric cars are not for everyone, and part of it is that our grid and our power systems are not prepared for that load. They're
Hell no.
not. They're
No.
not prepared. And California's been having brownouts. Texas had the big one. I don't know if you remember 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. When it was got cold out.
Yeah, and people died.
Yeah. Well, Texas has this whole weird thing where there's like 3 power grids in the US. There's the Eastern, the Western, and the Texas. Like Texas just has its own power grid that like encompasses like the entire mid south of the US. But it's like it's not connected to the federal power grid or whatever, which I don't even know. Like, thinking both sides of it, I don't even know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I don't know if I'd rather be connected to the federal one or if I'd rather have it in the hands of the state. But I think that politically they were trying to bash Texas when that happens.
I would much rather have it in the hands of the states because,
Yeah.
first of all, I don't believe in federal taxes. That's one thing.
I mean, yeah, they're technically illegal.
They are technically illegal. So, in order to build and upgrade a grid, you need federal taxes. So, they're against my thinking.
Do you,
And
though,
then
if you were to really use the best technology that we had?
what, against paying in federal taxes?
Like, do you really need a lot of money to build a robust energy grid if you used the best technology available, which we actively suppress with 6,000 patents that don't allow us to use technology that we've had for the last 100 years that can make everything much better?
But regardless of that, Brandon, just in materials and it's a tremendous task. Because what I read that it needs to be, I think it needs to be 4x.
Our
So
energy output.
yeah, energy output and handling load. So whatever we have, we need 4 times more.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, Brandon.
Well, let's say like the most expensive smart way we could do it with like the technology we're allowed to know about, nuclear energy. We know the globalists hate that because it's cheap and efficient and powerful. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, you would think the people who virtue signal about how we're polluting the world would want to use that, but instead they bomb the shit out of other countries and act like that doesn't have a negative impact on pollution.
Well, someone ran a study, and it turns out that a war is the most ecologically devastating activity that humans can partake. Like the amount of fuel that is burned, the destruction, chemicals, and this and that.
Yeah.
Aside from people getting killed,
But they like all that.
But it's unbelievable. I think things are coming down, and people are realizing that this is gonna break somehow.
Well, that's what the fourth turning is. And like, it's very important for people to understand the concept of the fourth turning, which, like I pushed hard to get Neil Howe on the show. He came on PVD the other day and it was a sick episode. And I think that's a concept that everybody needs to be familiar with because everybody's like, oh, it's never been this bad. It's like the end of things, blah, blah, blah. But, there's a time period like this every 100 years where society starts to break down. The old ways are worn out and, people are in need of change. Society's in need of change because like the old ways have run its course. So, it's World War II was, it's what the Civil War was, it's what the American Revolution was, and people got fed up with the way that things have been for the last 100 years. And that's where we're at now.
Well, Neil, tremendous episode. I recommend everyone watching to go watch it afterwards. Um, Funny guy. Were you there when he came?
Was I there?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Very smart. Just he had all these questions about everything, from coffee machines to whatever. But a great guy. Um, but I don't know. Something is about to get fixed or get fucked. That's my saying right now.
Get fixed or fucked?
Yeah. Those are the two outcomes.
Well, I think
Brandon.
it's going to first get fucked and then fixed, because the fourth turning, things get really bad. But at the end of it, it's the first turning where it's a Goldilocks period for the next 20 years. So I think we're in store for like 3 to 5 more years of like things being really brutal. But then after that, I think the AI stuff and the quantum computing and the and Internet of Things, like the robotic stuff, like that stuff will eventually go bad. But for the first 20 years, I think it's going to like create an economic boom and make the standard of living really great.
I absolutely agree. I think there's a stored potential for things to go extremely well for at least the next 20, 30 years. Like we just need to get over this huddle here, and we have brand new technology in many aspects of life, transportation, energy, the way we work, the way we do everything. So
The way we vote for politicians,
well, I hope that never changes, Brandon.
the way that we vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that we are eventually allowed to have more competition in our political system, because, there's a
yeah,
duopoly in place.
the political system, yeah, but I was thinking about crypto, blockchain voting and all that stuff. I don't know if I said this before, but I believe that the voting system, the way we vote, needs to be understood by the dumbest voter. And you can't beat pen and paper. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. You think people should have to pass a test to be allowed to vote?
No, but they should get IDs. That's a pretty good base IQ.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair ask. So guys, real quick, I dropped the link in the chat for what's going to be an epic event this year, the Vault 2024 conference. Dwayne the Rock Johnson is going to be there this year, and he's gotten pretty cool over the past 4 years. Like, a few years ago, I wasn't so much on the same page as him, but I've really been liking what he's saying over the past few years. And there's he's probably on the Mount Rushmore of like the most well-rounded people when it comes to success over the past few years. So look into that, consider checking it out. I mean, it's like probably one of the craziest atmospheres I've been in before, the vault that I went to last year. And it's a room full of 10,000 people who are successful entrepreneurs. So I mean,
what better than that?
The what?
There's nothing better than that.
No, like, I mean, the value of meeting somebody who, you could mutually benefit each other with like an exchange of like, oh, I do this, but I need this. And this person like does this, and they could give you that. You both mutually make each other richer.
Your network is your net worth. That's what it is.
Yeah. Like invaluable. So,
Plus,
I know you just missed it last year.
I did miss it last year, but I won't miss it this year.
Hell no.
Brandon is going to be there. I'm going to be there.
So
Vinny,
what else you need?
Adam, Pat.
Yep. And if you guys want to ask us any personal questions about anything we talk about, we are on Minnect. You could find us on there.
Or things that we don't talk about.
Yeah, we were having this crazy conversation last night that like was 10 times more interesting than what we're talking about right now. Even though we're having a pretty epic conversation right now, but what we were saying last night would like make us known around the world like within a few hours.
Oh yeah, no, that will go straight to the gulag.
So man, like I was saying it as we were speaking, I'm like, oh my god, like why can't we just be like this on the podcast? But
it'd be too much fun. The fun police will come for our asses.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be world famous, but we might get murdered or canceled or all the above.
Or both.
Yeah,
all of the above.
Yeah.
Abstained.
Yeah. But yeah, so thanks for joining me tonight, bro. I mean, like, we're gonna keep having crazy developments of this Trump stuff coming out every day, because I mean, think about it, JFK got murdered in 1963. People still talk about it and find new stuff till this day. So I don't think the story's going anywhere anytime soon, especially with how sketchy the government's being about it. I think the Biden thing is going to keep getting crazier by the day, because, you know, we don't even know if he's alive right now. And Cackling Kamala seems to be confidently trying to take the reins right now. So we have to really show people how incompetent and useless she is, in case it's not abundantly clear yet. So we have a lot of work to do.
Oh, I'm gonna send you an article after this because very interesting. But yeah, I think we're living through history right now, and
What's that saying? I said, there's decades where nothing happens, and then like weeks when decades happen.
This the weeks, the next 100 days, they're gonna be a lot. They're gonna be like a decade's worth in 100 days.
Yeah, we had a decade happen in the last 2 weeks.
We had. And
Yeah.
you don't think it's gonna get crazy? It will get crazy. So you
No,
guys
it
better
is.
tune into the Brandon and Cedar podcast.
Mm-hmm. Fourth turning, baby. Woo!
Fourth turning. It's coming.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Thanks for staying up late and watching. Like I said, we're working towards getting this to be a every night thing, but you know, we're moving at the speed of a rocket ship over here, and just trying to get our bearings straight. So thank you for being our day ones, and we will be back with you soon. Later,
Peace
bro.
out.